Okay, so we're gonna do the June 2007 game one. You can find that on Law Hub. But so this is an ordering game, and it's going to be game one. And so it says a company employee generates a series of 5-digit product codes in accordance with the following rules. The code uses the digits 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and no other digits. So those are our variables. And so I'm just going to write them out so I know what I'm working with. Each digit occurs exactly once in any code, so we have to use all these, and we can only use these once. Now I'm going to go to the third rule because we're going to be attacking these rules and making sure that we implement these rules into our diagram. So the third rule says the second digit has the value exactly twice of that of the first digit. So we have 5 digits, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So if the second digit has a value exactly twice of that of the first digit, I'm going to go through my variables and ask myself what that second digit could be. Could it be 0? Could I have this be twice of 1? No, because I don't have another variable that is a 0. Could number 2 be 1? Could I put 1 here? No, because I can't, there's no like 0.5 that I can put in 1, right? Could I have 2 in number 2? Yeah, I could, because I could have 1 here, and 1 times 2 is 2. Yeah. 2 is the double the digit of 1. So I could place 1 there. Could I have 3 here? No, I don't have 1.5. Could I have 4 there? I could have 4, because I could have this be 2. And so now I have 2 worlds, and I have 2 placed in both of those worlds. Hopefully that makes sense. So basically I'm going to go through the rule, and I'm going to go through each of my variables and see what I can place there. Usually some rules will have like if-then statements, so it'll already kind of tell you what variable to play around with. But then I'm going to look and see if there's anything else that I can do with that rule. This could mean if one of our other rules was something along the lines of 4 had to be before 2. Well, then this one would die because 4 is not before 2. Okay, so I'm going to move on to my last rule, and that is the value of the third digit is less than the value of the 5th digit. So for my third digit, what could I have as my third digit? Could I have 0 be the third digit? I could, because then I have 3 and 4, and 3 and 4 are both greater than 0. So I'm going to make another world. So we can place 0 there. Could I place 4 in number 3? I could, because then 4 or 5 would have to be 4. I could place 3 there. Could I place 4 there? I can't, because it is the largest digit that we're playing with right now. So if 3 has to be less than 5, that doesn't work. So up here, I have 3 and 4. Well, to be following that last rule, they could go in either place, and it would not violate that rule, right? So I'm going to do this. You could also do something like this, telling yourself that they swap. You could also leave them blank and just do 3, 4 and like circle it. That's fine as well. Whatever you need to do to kind of notate to yourself that those are your remaining variables and they can go in either place. I'm going to move to 3 because we're working on that third digit still. and we haven't even touched 2 yet. So I'm going to move to 3. If 3 has to be less than 5, then that means that it has to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 1, 2, and 3. That means that it has to be 4, because if we place 0 there, then that violates the rule. And that means that 0 has to fall in there. So we already have 2 valid worlds, and we're good there. So then we're going to move to number 2, and we're going to see what number we can place in 3 that can be less than 5. Could we place 0 in 3? Yes, because we can have the remaining variables being 1 and 3, they're both more than 0. So we can place 0 there. Could we place 1 there? Yes, because if we place 1 here, then that would mean that 5 has to be 3, which would leave this one being 1, 2, 3, 4, 0. We're also playing with number 3. Could we put 3 here? No, because if we place 3 there, then we know that 5 has to be 4, because it's the largest one. So it has to be less than, right? So we saw in our first world that when 0 is there, these two can basically flip-flop because they're not going to violate the rule. And so because we have 2, 0, and 4 placed, these could be 1 and 3. And now we have created all of the worlds that we can within this game. Once you go into the questions, you're going to notice that you cannot violate it. You do not have to test it out because we've already created the scenarios in which they exist. So for example, question number 1 says, if the last digit of an acceptable product code is 1, it must be true that, well, if I'm looking here, the only world in which 1 exists as the last digit is number 2. So if I had 1 here, that means 4 is 3. I'm just going to circle this just so I can remind myself that is what I'm looking at. It must be true that the first digit is 2. Yes. The second digit is 0. No. The third digit is 3. No. The fourth digit is 4. No. The fourth digit is 0. No. So it must be true that our first digit is 2. Hopefully this is making sense. And hopefully this kind of helps you start to create your worlds. Don't know why my 0 is not going away. Oh well. But that is how you kind of set up worlds in an ordering game.